What's up? It's Joy Blush Response, and welcome to the latest episode of Sound and Structure. Today I'm talking with Syl Kougai, a really interesting ambient IDM modular composer based out of France. Let's get right into it. So, hi, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you very much to invite me in your channel, talk music, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I really dig the modular series release you've been putting out. Are you doing a second season?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Actually, I'm modifying the system and testing a new sequencer and a new bit of optimization. And when I'm good to go, I will begin the season 2.
What's the new sequencer?
I was working on the vector.
Okay.
Before it was the Metropolis, but I have so few options. So I go with the vector and good sequencer, but very hard to manage some more structural composition or, So I go to the nutsack.
Oh yeah, that's the one for that.
Yes, and very geeky stuff. It's so deep.
Yeah, I love the nerd sequencer. You can do literally anything. So, what's in your system? Like, what did you use on the modular series?
Let me have a look with the video,
Yeah, that would be great.
Could be very great. Just I will put this here. And
okay. All right.
So, here the system now. So I have the little handmade stuff here to put things that are not into the system, but I want to work with it. And so now in the main stuff, it's the nutsack.
Yeah.
With the expander here.
Well, so the more triggers, is that?
More triggers and more CV.
Cool. And
the new OS is very great because I never used the sample possibilities on A7 and 8 tracks because I prefer working with the assimilator.
Mm.
And now you can allow the 7 and 8 tracks to control the CV expander and trigger expander, so you don't lose this channel here, and you can manage to have really sorry for my English, I searched my word.
No worries.
So yes, basically it's great like this. I don't know where. No, it's a bit maybe like this. Right.
It's a bit muffled. I think you're covering the phone microphone with your hand or something. Yeah.
Now better. It's better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the question? Sorry.
Just what's in your system at the moment? What are you really into?
Okay.
And like a general overview of your system.
Okay. So basically, I was thinking about 6 channel modular system in the main basis, like 6 tracks with a potential to be a 6-track machine drum or 6 polysynth, something like this. I'm going to the 6 system, and so I expand the out, also the audio out, to get 6 multi-track possibility, right?
Okay.
And so it evolves a bit, but the idea is to keep on something like 6. It's always a bit more flexible, right? You can go far more than 6 if you want, because there is so much possibility, right? So but in the ID, it's something like this. So the first thing I was working on, it was the upside of the first case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's with some more analog stuff than the bottom one. It's the first time I'm working with the analog oscillator, analog filter. It was for me something that I searched for such a long time to work with analog machine. I'm a very digit boy, working with my, Atram 830 Yamaha,
Yeah, I love that one.
Octatrack, and a lot of digital things everywhere. And for the first time, an analog oscillator.
It's the Rubicon 2?
Filter. Sorry?
It's the Rubicon 2?
Yes, Rubicon 2 with a little Dixie.
Cool.
And the Morgas Matron. So I have basically a good one or two voice, analogic voice here. Basically, I love to make bass with this voice here, and it's amazing. It's the digital and analog stuff. I love digital, but sincerely, when you go into the very deep bass, I find the filter better, sounding better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would like to connect this with the outside of my studio. So I'm going to the FH2 from Expert Sleepers,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can bring back some MIDI from the Octatrack particularly.
Okay.
So it's very great to do some power metal logs here and to get the MIDI here. And
yeah, that's next level with the Octatrack. I do that a lot as well. I love that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know very well the Octatrack, and the sequencer is just awesome. So it was for me no-brainer to get the FH2. And actually, I made some little different preset. Each time I turn on the machine, it's basically some clock and some LFO that are syncable just with one wire. So if I want to connect the Octatrack, I load the preset for the Octatrack, and I can have like 4 CV, 6 channel. So it's very powerful, very great. Just at the side, we have the distinct X2.
Uh-huh.
And I'm using it to do the other way, CV to MIDI. So I'm working with Modular J2, and I want this thing to communicate with the path into the J2 here. So
that's cool.
Yes. So if I need some huge polyphonic stuff or something is missing here, I can always go to the Modular J2 and send some CV to it and send back some MIDI and with this one too.
Awesome. Did you do that a lot on the Modular series?
Yes, there is a few of non-modular J2 into it, and also a few FS1R.
Oh, wow. That's a rare one.
Yes, very, pain in the ass to get into the machine with your finger, but hopefully you have the application. So it's not perfect, but it's working.
That's an amazing piece. I've never gotten to use one.
It's sounding really amazing. Even if you working with just two oscillator, 2 or 3, the sound is so clean. It's crystal clean. It's incredible. But the filter is a bit, weak. The It's not an analogic one. It's not a great one. It's a very musical, just to attenuate frequency. So, but it's working.
I see you have the panharmonium.
I do. I didn't change the little accu. There is a for the memory inside of it. There's a little. I don't know the term in English. Like something that keep the memory. So
the battery.
Yes, the battery. Thanks.
Okay.
So now the battery turned. His life was over, and so I lose everything.
Oh no! But do you have them backed up on your computer?
No, nothing.
Oh.
But I'm not working with this machine like a very preset manager one. I like to use it more like a modular thing to complete this one or this one. So I make a sound, I record it, and it's not a problem to lose it. Hopefully, it's not like the Octatrack where there is all my live stuff and a lot of work, tracks and things like this that I don't want to lose.
The Octatrack also has a battery, so keep that in mind. But it's very easy to replace.
Yes, but hopefully I'm doing backup each time I finish something.
Yeah, so. The card saves forever. The battery is just for the edits you make without saving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
A little thing that I can talk about also, it's this little box, a MIDI hub, which is very interesting, especially with the FH too, because with this little box, you can define that, for example, channel 1 and 2 of the MIDI tracks of the Octatrack is going here. But you will also, you can merge, for example, some channel from the Octatrack and some channel from the non-modular G2. So with just one MIDI cable, you can convert some MIDI stuff from several devices.
That's cool.
That's very cool and very simple to use, There is 4 in, 4 out, and a little hub inside.
I'm going to have to ask you for that later, a link for that. I could use that.
Yes, of course. No problem.
See you.
Yes.
I see you have an Eventide in the rack over there. Is that the 7600?
It's the Orville.
Yeah, okay.
It's a friend that just gave it to me because it's not working with it anymore. And it's a fantastic sounding device. And the shame is that the wheel is not working.
Oh, no.
So it's, but, it's a very interesting device to work with. I'm just, just scratching the surface for now.
So it's a recent acquisition.
Yes, quite difficult to I think to program. In fact, without this thing. So I want to go to the application on Windows, and so I'm searching a PC.
Yeah, VSig. Cool. Do you use that? Have you connected it to the rack at all, or the Octatrack MIDI or anything?
No, not for the moment.
Okay.
No. It's not part of the sound you hear.
Okay.
So, maybe we can continue if you want.
Yes.
The little tour. So, VCA, envelope, the famous shapeshifter.
Amazing piece.
It was quite complex at the beginning to understand the function, how it functioned, but now I feel more comfortable with it, and I can easily find some stuff that I'm happy with it. And it's very unique sound for a digital thing.
Yeah, it's quite special.
What is beautiful with the the Eurorack system is that you can have an oscillator, very digital, and have a very analog filter just behind it, and it sounds so beautiful, you know.
Yes, I love that mix and match aspect, the Lego thing.
Absolutely fantastic. So the Belgrade filter is essentially one of the best sounding filter I've ever come across. So I begin with one, and I was so happy. I get a second one to get some stereo stuff.
Nice.
It's amazing how it sounds. I love absolutely this filter. One of the best, I think.
They make really good stuff.
Yes, I hear your video. I watch your video from for the Odessa, and it's beautiful sounding system also.
I think it would be one for you, honestly.
Very crystal clean also.
Yeah. I see you have the marbles in there. How do you like that?
Very interesting. I use it for basically modulation, not for too much pitch or simple drum triggering stuff, but it's more like the main intelligent LFO system, you know. I like the fact that you can go from a square to a wave with just a button, and you can have some relation between the three, the X1, X2, and X3 CV. So, and the deja vu function is great. So yes, I love the system because there is also the Y little modulation, and it's very powerful too.
Yeah.
So yes, marble is nice.
And what do you have there in the row with the Rainmaker?
The plates, which is not working in this patch, and the Zada.
Oh, nice.
Yes, fantastic. Vectorial envelope. What a nice idea.
How do you like it as compared to the Control Forge? Do you find that they're similar, or?
Absolutely opposite philosophy, I think. This one is complex envelope, but very easy to use with very few parameters. And the Control Forge is more like something that you have to program more to get something interesting. But you can do simple stuff also, like a multi-stage envelope, which is the case here. So a multi-stage envelope is something a bit missing in my system, because you have the quad racks and the Zada, but sometimes you need an envelope to do some more FM stuff or things that need some very precise development with triggering on sync in the BPM. So this machine is also great. I have to say that Rossum has his own philosophy, and you have to learn a bit how it functions, how it works. But at the end, it's a good price to work with this system, because it's very flexible and you can do so many things. And it's the basis of the modular synthesis. It's about modulation. This is little idea. At first, you have just one output and the reverse. So you say, "Oh my God, what a price for just one modulation. But I like the idea of the super powerful one modulation, you know.
Yeah.
And you melt it and you reverse it and you attenuate it, and it's about communication of the same message, but different interpretation in the system. I like this way because it's connect one sound to another in a relationship.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the modular. The interconnectedness, anything can affect anything else. It's hard to do that with disparate hardware pieces, I find.
Absolutely. That's the beauty.
I see you've quite a lot of the Rossum stuff. You got the Morpheus, the assimilator, but I noticed the panharmonium is not in your case right now.
No.
Why is that?
I wasn't convinced on the video. I heard, even if on the paper it looks fantastic.
Yep.
But the sound, sometimes it's because, you know, when I listen to your video, it's something that is your sound speak to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was very impressed by your Odessa, your beats video, because the sound is amazing. What you're doing with it, you know, you get the feeling. Yeah. But sometimes you have some fantastic machine and you don't find good sounding on the internet. I don't know why. And it's the case for this panharmonium. I don't remember the name correctly.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes. I'll just take my hand on this one.
Oh, okay. It's the Trident. Nice.
Yes. And it's just out now because I'm not also not convinced. Even if it's sounding great, it's hard to to manage to easily find something interesting. But I will give it a second try.
And how do you feel about the 301?
It's amazing.
You've never gotten to use it.
Yes. And it's really in my philosophy, right? So it's very easy for me to understand how it works. And I always working like this with the non-modular G2 and Maximus P. So it's incredible the way you can navigate in this machine. It's the first time I see this way of compiling things and programming something. And you know it?
Yeah. But I've never used it.
Yeah, so in fact, it's very, very easy for a muni diving module. I think it's one of the best the best way to navigate in very complex multi-layering module. The guy, you know, something very different from other navigation. So you have the wheel, you go somewhere, example here, and you want this particular parameter, for example, here. You select it and you can affect anything here from something from the outside, or you can put some sine wave, envelope. So you insert, you choose what you want to insert it, and then get back here, and you have the gain. And it is as simple as this, and you can go very, very deep. With a simple way of navigating, you have a computer into your rack, very powerful. I managed to find some very interesting FM sound with it, and some granular stuff. Great, amazing.
Is that mostly what you use it for?
Sorry?
Is that mostly what you use it for?
Yes, recording audio, then granular hit, FX and FM synthesizer, or sometimes just polysynth. You can do some huge polysynth inside of it.
Oh wow!
So the only regret I have it's there is just 4 output,
Mm.
and I would have loved like 4 outputs special to CV generation, and it could have been the perfect little computer as a module. But it's very deep. You can go. I'm just scratching the surface right now.
How do you use that versus the assimilator? Like, what do you use the assimilator for that you don't use the 301 for?
I don't use this one as typical sample like the Octatrack. I use it mainly as a synthesizer, even if it's simple based or something in between FX and a synthesizer. So for me, it's more like this. And the assimilator is really at first it was to get rid of my Octatrack for the sound, for not for the MIDI and the sequencer, but the idea of this one was more for really beats and getting rid of the Octatrack and then having the sample possibilities if I move without the Octatrack. So the assimilator right now is more like a drum machine, and sometimes a bit different, but more like a drum machine. Yes.
I find I use mine the same way. It's just really, really good as a drum machine.
Yes, fantastic. What is amazing with this machine is the pitch. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The best pitch I have ever heard in a sampler, right? Really, it's incredible. I don't know why.
It's because it's Emu, man. Dave Rossum is a genius.
Yes. He's a god.
I did a video about the Emacs a couple of weeks ago where I talk about the pitch transposition in that and how special it is. And I feel that the assimilator still has a lot of that vibe from those old samplers that he made back then. You know, it's really special the way he does it.
But what do you think it is? It's some kind of anti-aliasing, algorithm inside of it. How it's possible? Because when you get very low, you down the pitch, it's still sounding great. It's not the case in the Octatrack at all. If you go too down into the pitch, the sound is destroyed. Here, it's not exactly like a old tape recorder, but almost as enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, truthfully, I don't know the science behind it, but Rossum is the master of samplers. It's his bread and butter for 40 years. You know, that 40 years of experience has to mean something. Did you ever use the old Emu samplers?
I had the 4XT.
Yeah, even that one's great. I have a 64 here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was one of the best sounding device. I sold it and I keep my old Yamaha. I don't know why. Maybe I needed some money at this time.
The age-old reason.
Yes. So here we have a little bits and
yeah, I mean, if you turn the mutating aliasing on, it kind of gets that old crunchy vibe.
incredible.
Huh?
Incredible sounding device.
Yeah, it really is. How do you like the Z-plane filter, the Morpheus?
Look, I was working with the Bionic Lester MK2 or 3 because I needed another stereo filter, and it was great because of the comb possibility. But Orac is about to try things different. So this one is a very special effect, something a filter, digital one, but you know it. It's a very strange and complex one. It looks like a lot of comb. You can do some vocal thing with it, but you can do simple things also. So yes, this one can turn, for example, a simple analog waveform into something that is more like physical modeling sounding things, right? And especially if you use it with feedback techniques. For example, you take this oscillator, you get into the Rainmaker, and then into the Morpheus, and the feedback from the Morpheus into the Rainmaker. And then you get basically a very great modeling, physical modeling little system. And it's sounding amazing. Because the feedback there is changing into very complex, frequency moving.
Well, that's great. Do you use the resonant bodies inside of it a lot? Like it has the guitar body and the clarinet and other shapes?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. And the distortion also, there is for each, I don't know the name, algorithm. For each algorithm, there is a particular distortion with it. Yeah. And sometimes it's the transform, it's the distortion, but sometimes it's not the distortion. So you have to go into the menu and hear what the distortion is doing. And sensorily, there is some very interesting digital distortion in this machine too. So it's very great to get this physical aspect for sound. It gives some body, some resonance that is very complex. So that was why I get this one, to get some physical modeling style.
Yeah, that's what I find it's best at, honestly.
You have it too.
Yeah, I love that thing. I have the simulator, the Panharmonium, and the Morpheus from Rossum. Love them all.
Panharmonium. Can you tell me a bit more?
Oh, well, I might do a video soon, but I haven't done a video because it's so good that I don't want to give it away. I'll just say that. It's really fucking good, man. When I got it, I used it on 50 tracks in a row. I love it. It can do kind of that like a generative pitch shimmer type of thing if you wanted to. You can create weird percussion with kind of spectral tails. You could do so much. There's so many ways you can go with it. I find it was a game changer for me. And I have my album that came out last year, Void In. It's all over that. And then it's all over the 2 new albums I have finished now. It's literally almost on every track, doing everything. Okay. It's amazing for me. So maybe I'll do a video sometime soon.
Hope so.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you choose a module like this, do you? I found that on the internet it was always the same sound, sounding a bit always the same. So is it the case, or the palette is more wide than expected?
I mean, it definitely has a recognizable sound, I'd say. But that's if you're doing the most basic stuff with it, because, if you just put a sound into it and turn up the amount of voices and the feedback, you get kind of this pitch shimmer thing, and it's a beautiful sounding shimmer pitch thing. But once you start modulating it and getting really crazy, then it's a whole other level. It's up to you to make it get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I found so many weird things with it, especially when you patch it together with the Rainmaker or the air reverb or the beads, or using it in tandem with another processor. It makes it even another level.
Okay.
Yeah, the only complaint I have, and it's a really quite a big deal, is that it's a mono device. Even though it has a stereo in, the effect is mono. I don't know why. It's always sum to mono. It should have just been mono in that case.
Okay.
So I make a point to go stereo after the panharmonium.
Okay. Hopefully you will make a video soon.
I've got a few to make. I've got to review some modules that were sent to me, so it'll come sometime in the future.
Oh, I have to tell you a little story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I look to your beads video, and I prepare here a place for the beads. Right.
Oh wow!
And nowhere I can find it. I just write everywhere, no one. And so I command the second distinct, and I had the guy at the phone, and just ask him, what about the date for the next bunch of beads? And he tell me, oh, I just have one just on my desk, because a client just wanted, but give it, so you don't want it anymore. So if you want it, it's yours. Oh my God, yes. Give me a PayPal, beam, and I send it to you. The guy send it to me, and the transporter lose it.
No way.
No way.
Oh my God, that sucks.
Maybe it was the last bids in Europe. And the guy just lose it.
Dude,
yes.
That really blows. That's such a shame.
Yes.
Wow. So when was that?
It was a few weeks.
Okay. Fuck.
Yes.
Wow.
So I have to wait now.
I got lucky getting mine because I had it on the pre-sale list at Schneider's, and they called, and I didn't know when it was coming, and they just called me and they were like, "It's here now. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yes." And then I got home and I made the video right away because I was like, "Gotta get the views now." Yeah.
So, do you use it intensively?
Honestly, not so much. Only because I've been really busy. I think I did like 10 remixes in the past 2 months, and just other production stuff that I haven't had so much time to explore it fully. Because when I'm doing a remix, I just use the things I already know, just to work quickly. So, but I'm meaning to get into it.
Yes, it's sounding so great, and the wavetable synthesizer in it.
Yes.
What a great idea. Yeah,
it's really. I mean, even in the video, it was blowing my mind every 10 seconds. It's really special. So I'm excited for it. So tell me about. We've looked at your system, but for the modular series itself, when you're recording it, how did you do it? You multi-track into what DAW?
Logic.
Okay, with RME, right? Interfaces.
Yes.
Okay.
And here with the multi-clock, and the RME systems, which are the old generation, so it's not very expensive. And I have aggregated system.
Right.
The two 400 here are just in ADAT, and the two big are aggregated.
Okay.
To keep it more analog before, I have the patch here, but you have the patch in digital too here. But when you convert several times, you can lose a bit of powerful of the main signal, I don't know the name, the primary signal. So I have, yes. So I multi-track the more I can. Sometimes it's not possible to have everything dispatched, but the idea is because my system is, in fact, it looks like maybe for some big system, but I don't think so. It's medium.
Yeah,
system.
I'd say medium.
It's so there is no EQ, there is no compression, there is some. It's a sound design machine, which is not meant to have finish sounding. Even if you can, if you're, I heard a lot of people that manage to have a stereo signal that is perfect. But for me, I think you have at the end to correct some levels or some EQing or some compression. So you multi-track here and you do a little adjustment after, because also I am a guy that's working in my brain in 2 times or 3 times. So when I'm digging into something, there is some stuff I don't hear anymore or I forgot. And so I'm a bit like, in a rush. So in this rush, I don't want to too much think about technical things. So the idea is to get something that is enjoyable for me and get back here. Then I can re-listen to it in a more technical aspect and do a bit of things that you have to do, like, oh my God, this sound is too high. Oh, maybe there is too harsh frequency in it, and things like this. So there is no particular way of working, but it's not rare that I record first session and then a second upon it. Sometimes it's the track seems to be definitive, and when you re-listen to it, there is just one element you have to put upon it, or maybe you have to repass things into the machine. So that's why I put a S3 here.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I'm recording the audio and also I'm recording some CV information into Logic.
Okay.
So, for example, my movement with my hand on the planar, or some envelope in the quadrats, or some super modulation things from the marble are recorded into the session. So I can go back with the HADAT and here with the ES3 and do it a second time.
Okay.
So I don't lose the information of what the sounds are sharing as a modulations, and I can record second time or sometimes a third time, but I never go too much to keep the things a bit fresh.
That's very clever. I hadn't thought of that. The ES3 is it's from ADAT, or?
Yes, it's
I don't have any of the expert sleepers. Okay. Yeah.
So it's going into the Fireface.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is you can record very slow modulation, even like something very slow like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's recorded as an audio track, but it can reproduce it as a CV, no problem.
Awesome. So that's good, because I was going to ask. So you multi-track them, you record them live. Later you do some edits. You cut for length. You do overdubs.
Yes, overdubs and a bit of edits. Because sometimes in my approach, first I program, I patch the thing. And then, it's in this process is more something very delicate. I don't want to lose because it's so easy to lose the growl when you find the sound and you move something and it's over. you lose it. You lost it. So in the first chapter, it's very tiny. You do things, you find things, and then when I will record, I will move everything. Mm-hmm. So the problem is that I will not. It's not possible to record it as composed in, if you want, second time. But you can record it at the beginning a bit more. You're doing it with tiny movement, and then the more is playing, the more you move things and you go drastic with it. At the end, it will be necessary to edit a bit because there is some time, lose time. I don't know. Sometimes it's too long, so you have to cut a bit, and then you go from a place and you arrive at another place. Then sometimes it's just great to record this a second time because you find during this travel some very interesting way to play it, but it's not sounding at the beginning, and it's not possible to go at this time in the past. So I think it's very I love it, really. It's the way I want to play music now. I found, in fact, composing more like a traditional structural music is a bit more, boring now for me. I don't know, it's maybe a syndrome of the when you get into the modular stuff. You like things that are moving, that is evolving every time, and it's never the same.
Yes.
And sometimes you go to places that are very, you cannot offer this to the public because it's just shit. But you can maybe from this shit some things can happen. So you never know.
Yeah, it's different every time. It's crazy, and I fully with you on it being like such an organic feeling, and I love that organic evolution of the track, and also with you that I'm not interested in the structure so much anymore. Like I like the meditation. I don't like the big brain edit type of thing that much anymore. I only do it for a functional thing. I was working with this rock band quite recently and kind of reworking one of their tracks, and I sent them one thing that was like a completely spaced out edit that I was in love with, and it was like way too weird for them, and they were like, no, we need the verse, we need the chorus, and I was like, okay, let's try again. So now I'm doing that, but I don't really want to, like I like the weird shit. Yeah.
Yes, and after this, maybe for us, the EDM stuff is so cheesy, so predictable. So the structure is killing the music.
I mean, I still love the IDM. Like I could listen to Autechre all day, Phoenicia, somatic responses. Yeah. But I even
very hard to make music that are not cheesy with a structural traditional way of composing. Of course, the big names that we are loving can do this, and but
they're the masters.
Of course.
I do agree with you though that in the genre IDM, for example, there's like things you can do that are IDM, and when you do them, you're IDM. Even if it's not innovative, it's like, oh yeah, I did a beat repeat on the drum beat, so it's glitching. It's IDM now, and it's too, it's easy. It's not the right spirit.
And all all the machines are following the leaders of the aesthetic in music. So, for example, at the end of the 90s, if you look at the machines, what they can do, they was not supposed to do music like Affix Twins or Autechre, right? They was using the machines with a very creative way. And then the way they found this music is now at the disposition, almost in presets in the new software, right?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
They are really the big brothers.
Yeah, all those things that were so hard for them to do now, you just open Ableton and like stick on whatever preset and you have a whole track like that. It's nuts. But that just means we have to try harder to make new things.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. We have to continue to be creative.
Yeah. I saw a Waldorf on the left side of your rack.
Yes.
I want to see the whole studio. Let's see. Give me like the tour.
Okay. Here is the. So it's the digital station.
Mm-hmm. You got the legendary electrons.
Yes, the Queen.
Oh yeah.
Every time I get on this machine, there is some fucking incredible bits out of it.
Yeah,
I love it. I do my all my live session until the singer stopped us with this machine as a beat maker and the Octatrack.
Nice.
And this one is my maybe the oldest synthesizer in my studio. It's the first proper synthesizer I bought, and now I know it so well. I love it so much. I can go back to my everything is my presets, and I'm just living in my presets and doing new stuff from my presets. I found this way with this machine is very, very good way. And sincerely, it's sounding amazing. This machine is incredible. Can make some sounds that you will never think it can do. It's incredible.
Yeah, I used to have one. I miss it so much.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
It's fantastic. And the filter, I don't remember if it's analog or digital, but the filter is amazing. If it's digital, maybe it's the best digital filter ever made.
It's digital, and it is the best digital filter ever made. 100%.
Yes, incredible. So Waldorf Microwave XT, I will keep it for life.
Yeah.
And I like to use this machine with the Mono Machine MIDI sequencer. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I use it with the Octatrack sequencer too. So here is my little preset I'm doing here to cheat a bit and then go back to serious because now I'm more into this. So let's do like this.
Oh yeah, you got the micro modular there. Nice. Where's the G2?
The G2 is I can go. It's here in this box.
Okay, it's the engine.
Yes, it's the engine, and here is the Mackie to balance the output of the G2, and to get a bit more of high level. And it's the same for the FS1R that's going into the Mackie mixer. And so the signal is balanced and going here.
Great.
All the wires are not complete at the moment. I'm still having a lot of stuff here to soldering and make all the output of all the machine going into here. What I have to do also is getting more output from the IntelliGel box.
Uh-huh.
So there is basically two here, and I do some hole here on the black one here. So I have 6 output on the bottom one, and 4 with these two and these two.
Okay.
So 10 outputs now.
Nice.
And I have a rig with this machine and the Octatrack and the Modular G2 that are basically for a lot of composition in the way and all my live stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have time because I'm learning and doing modular things a lot, but things are in the work, and maybe I have I don't know, in this machine I have maybe 40 or 50 tracks that are almost ready.
And
so, but it's complex to release stuff that are more. It's also why I love modular, because it's a way of thinking the music, even the way you output it. I think it's more composing traditional music. You want to put it on a good label with a good vinyl, or with a CD or something like this, because you want to listen to it several times. You want to do music that you can go back into it, like when we were young, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the modular stuff, I think it's a way to be more flexible, a way to be more in a modern way that like the social behavior on the internet. So I think it's very great to release stuff that are more fresh and also more light in a way. It's fresh, it's light, and it can go with a huge quantity. A bit like Otaker, like when they are releasing, 24 hours of music in one bunch, boom. It's a way of releasing music that is in harmony with the time we are living in, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you can be format agnostic. You can release anything any way you want it to be. It's a special time for that. There's freedom in that.
How do you think about the releasing not the releasing the subject of releasing music now?
Well, I think people are too into streaming now, and that's disappointing because there's no money in streaming, and there will not be, and it's a shame. It's brought the value of music down more, but I do love releasing music because it's a compulsion. It's a statement. Any release, an album, an EP, whatever. It's about like, this is me, this is where I'm at, or this is us, this is where we're at, if it's a group. And I think the art itself is what's important at the end of the day. So releasing is just, it's something that has to happen for me personally. I need to do it. I don't know why I do, I just do. I have to.
Maybe it's because we are a bit old school still.
Yeah.
Like releasing an album, and you spend 1 year on working on it, and all the things that are on the detail level at the maximum you can do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's still for me the that's why I want when I'm searching music, right?
Yeah,
but,
me too.
But it's very difficult, to release something like this.
I had questions about this album. I wanted to get into that next.
Okay.
Because I want to know the difference in approach from IXLYE to to the Modular series because that came out in 2015. I'm assuming on your setup with the electrons, right?
Yes.
And now then there was a big break, which I'm assuming was building and learning the Modular.
Exact.
So how was the approach different back then?
I always been a hardware guy, so I use very few plugins, and my main rig was the Electron and the non-modular J2 and the Waldorf XT. So basically, it's everything I've made with
schematic.
Yes, for schematic. Yeah. And I have to say thank you to Romulo because he really believed in the project and put it on a double vinyl while it was not so easy to do. And we ended up with a very beautiful heavyweight. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was quite difficult to put this music on vinyl, and really? The mastering was quite difficult. Three times we do the test pressing to find the good balance. 3 or 4 times, I don't remember. To find the good balance, for the vinyl, it's difficult to have a high level and a wide stereo. And I didn't compose the music in the idea of putting it on vinyl. I compose it like the best music I can do. So it was quite difficult for the guy to put it on vinyl. And now I'm very happy with the results. Really sounding great. So it's a really composed step-by-step music. With the electron sequencer, and upon it there is a few plugins with more physical modeling approach, and I like to play them also with the electron step by step. I like the way to touch the trig and the note with my finger, and so then it's quite heavily mixed, even if my main idea was to keep the sound of the machine like it is when it's getting out of the machine. I don't want the sound to be too much different or with a huge amount of layering. I like the way the machine drum is sounding, and I would like to invite the machine drum in my album as a guest, as the main beat machine, and very recognizable, but with my way of playing it.
I'm with you there. If I'm using the machine, it's because I like the machine. Yeah, Exactly. So yeah. I like to show it off.
I suppose when you listen to the album and you know the machine drum, you can definitely say, oh, it's a machine drum.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully a bit you like.
I mean, it's the same like 808 or 909, You can always know when they're in use. But it doesn't make it sound bad. They sound good. Yeah. I think the analog rhythm and the machine drum are the new 808 and 909 for the modern generation.
Absolutely. The machine drum will stay in the paysage for a long time, I think.
Is there anything you'd like to get into your studio that you don't have yet?
Oh, just to finish, the comparison from...
Oh, yeah.
So the difference with the Modular series, I'll look at the MIDI disc.
Yeah, it looks great.
To get the perfect format.
That looks great.
And with also on the side, sign with indelible you can write something on the boat and the C is not moving the stuff here.
Oh, great.
Yes, MIDI disc is back.
Yes, I'm going to be doing some too. I'll tell you later some plans for those. Yeah.
So it's a great little format. And yes, the way the work is very different because for the modular series, I try to keep 1 week working on the patch and then remove the patch. And the week after, a bit of editing and mixing, and then everything is around for the social media, like a video, like a photo, like a text or a newsletter or something like this. So 1 week of music, 1 week to finish mastering and moving on for the guys on the internet. So it's very different approach from the Ictus album.
How do you pronounce it? Because I didn't even try.
It's Ictus.
Ictus. Okay.
Yes, it's a Greek word, but you can say Ixoye.
Okay.
Also.
Cool. So you also mix them and master them yourself. What's, or at least the modular series, what's in your mixing and mastering chain? What's like your favorite EQ, limiter, et cetera, et cetera?
Look,
because they sound really good.
Thank you very much. For the modular series, I used the modular channel from Overstayer. So I think it's interesting to keep it analog. The more you can. So this machine is basically a stereo channel with a filter, high pass, low pass, EQ, and a compression, and then harmonic distortion or saturation level. And everything at the end is side, no, not side, it's the same signal added, like the wet, the dry or wet signal with the compressed signal with the distortion signal. I don't remember the name in English. This techniques is parallel, exactly. So it's parallel compressing and parallel harmonic distortion in the same machine. It's sounding like nothing else. It's sounding amazing. For example, just the machine drum into this machine, and man, the machine drum is just getting huge.
I believe
it's fantastic. So this machine then recorded the stereo here, and then adding some limiting. There is also limiting on the Overstayer, but here you can do some limiting, like 0.1 dB if you want, very precise limiting stuff. So I work with Sonox plugins. So basically, it's the
Oxford limiter.
Very simple Oxford limiter, and also what is very interesting is the dynamic EQ. Dynamic EQ is a great tool, especially into the mix for me. So when you have finished, it's bounced with this little limiter to get the proper, perfect level, to get compatible with everything. But for the sound aspect, is definitely for the modular series, the modular channel from Overstayer.
It's good to know. It sounds great. Basek was telling me about the Overstayer as well. He has one. He says it's amazing. I'm going to have to look into that.
You can send him some CV. That's amazing.
Really? That's cool.
Yes. There is some CV for the sidechain stuff and the distortion.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah.
And so my previous question, what would you like to get into your studio next? Is there something on your list?
Let me think. recently I got this one,
Oh,
and I found it sounding very great too. And what is amazing is the simplicity of the machine. Very simple and sounding so incredible. I'm fan of Node machine.
me too.
And if it's very clean digital, it's a bit like the Electron. It's Swedish, but the Swedish sound is great.
Yeah, I
But
saw.
simply, if I have to do something more, it's on the modular.
Hmm.
But for the moment, I have to go slow because it's you can want everything. But I have a little module that is coming this week, which will change a bit. Is matrix, the maze matrix. It's a little matrix 4 in, 4 out with a 16 grid pad.
Is it the WMD?
No, it's a livestock electronic device. The maze.
I'll have to look it up.
Yes, it's maybe a good one. I will. So you can, the 4 out, the 4 in, and the 4 out. So basically, you put something in the 4, and you can adjust the level or invert it, and you have 16 presets, and you can morph between presets.
That's cool.
Yes. So this is something that is lacking is a matrix in my system.
I'm very curious to hear what you'll do with that. And you're working on, what are you working on now?
I'm working on tracks that are not, for the moment, I'm recording everything, but it's basically to learn things, So this morning I'm waking up and I'm just telling myself, okay, I have to dive into this module and just to know it. And I'm trying to learn the module, and at the end of the day, it's a patch, and I have to record it. It's a bit awful because all your projects are not moving, are not involved. So yes, I'm working on my device to find new strategy, to find new sounds, and at the end, it's a new patch. So I recorded them, and I'm maybe 40 new patch now. So recorded, but it's I don't know what I will do. I will resend it maybe between 2 series.
Okay.
I like the idea to keep the series like a marathon. 1 week a patch. But here, this patch is here for 2 weeks, and it's a difficult one. I don't know why, but I have to do more NerdSec structural things to send the proper modulation at the right time, and it's getting more time. So at the time it's that, and also. I will maybe I'm thinking about being more onto the web, like more presence, talking more with people. So I'm thinking how I can share more of this moment while I'm not releasing it, but I can share it with the guys. So I don't know exactly how to do it. Maybe some live video, or I don't know. I have to find a way. What would you like to hear? If, for example, how would be the way you want to hear something like this? A patch in the process.
Well, I could tell you what I did because I think you're a very advanced performer, and you're talking about the evolution of the patch. So one thing I did last summer, I tried experimenting. I would do like a studio stream, and it was just, I'd just have the camera running on Twitch for hours, and I would just patch, play with the patch, talk a bit to whoever's watching, and just kind of let things evolve, see how they go. Sometimes I would have someone in the viewer say like, "Oh, tell me what BPM. I'll make a patch in this BPM or something," and just, it might be interesting for people to see you building it up over time on a longer scale. You know, you could do something like that on YouTube Live. There are a lot of ways to go about it, especially since it would help the marathon aspect too, because you could say like, okay, I'm doing Modular Series Season 2, and you have the videos of the streams of you making it, and then you have the release, so people can go back and watch after hearing the release too. Might be interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think we did all of my questions, and this was really interesting for me. I'm keeping some tips in mind for patching myself later. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much to invite me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Peace out.
Peace out, mate.
Thanks for watching. As always, if you'd like to know who's coming up next and submit questions, you can do that by subscribing to my Patreon. Peace out.